things that you wouldn't believe. I was lost until I found that I'm invincible. Nobody gon' bring me down.
Here we go.
Invincible.
Yeah. Shawty loves it, yeah. Loves that I'm a dog. They don't want it, yeah. They scared of what I know. Told you the budget, yeah. I gotta get my own. Shout out my bros, this right here deserves a toast, yeah. A lot of people back home on my back and they know. Trying to get on my line, cause the people I know. Manifest this year, 7+ on the ropes. They ain't doing this shit, tripping over my flows. Yeah, I'm on the way, tell them I don't play. Yeah, I'm on the move, trying to get my pay. I might just move on and watch and pray. Yeah, I'm on the way, I'm on my way. Yeah. Manifest this year, 7+ on the ropes. They ain't doing this shit, tripping over my flows. Yeah. Shawty loves it, yeah, loves that I'm a goat. Yeah. Yeah. Shawty loves it, yeah, loves that I'm a goat. They don't want it, yeah. They scared of what I know. Told you the budget, yeah. I gotta get my own. Shout out my bros. shows, this right here deserves a toast, yeah. A lot of people back home on my back and they know. Trying to get on my line, cause the people I know. Manifest this year, 7+ on the ropes. They ain't doing this shit, tripping over my flows. Yeah, I'm on the way, tell them I don't play. Yeah, I'm on the move, trying to get my pay. I might just move on and watch and pray. Yeah, I'm on the way, I'm on my way. Yeah. Manifest this year, 7+ on the ropes. They ain't doing this shit, tripping over my flows. Yeah. Shawty loves it, yeah, loves that I'm a goat. Yeah.
Look left, look right, and I come with a hook right. Hook right, hook right. This what the angles look like. Way up, stood high, taking the view when it look right. And oh, it's the good life, whipping the sauce when I cook like. Look left, look right, yeah, yeah. Come with a hook right. Hook right, hook right, hook right. Make all the man them look twice. I'm way up, stood high, but I've been in the field like Suge Knight. And they know this took time. This what a legacy look like. This what I come with a and 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 I come with a taking the view when it look right. And oh, it's the good life, whipping the sauce when I cook like. Look left, look right, yeah, yeah. Come with a hook right. Hook right, hook right, hook right. Make all the man them look twice. I'm way up, stood high, but I've been in the field like Suge Knight. And they know this took time. This what a legacy look like. This what a and I come with 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 a come with a.
Say I'm good-hearted, but I'm just getting started. Got my eyes on the target. No, no. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. To give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, book all the cages. No, I won't sit and take it. No, no. They left me for dead, I guess I'll never learn. Every time I break, there's just more pain to burn. They'll never, never, never learn. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. I'll never run. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me. They'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me. They'll be calling me royalty.
Hey everyone, thank you guys so much for spending your Thursday evening with us on the Dirt Report. It's time for our preseason kickoff, and that means it's going to be family slandering for the next few minutes, next 40 minutes. My name is Chief Cass, also Brian, and we got a couple of new faces. Originally, we're going to bring on the forehead man himself, but his internet and his Wi-Fi decided to die, so we're actually going to bring in a real player from Arizona. That's going to be William Pendergraph over there from ASU, the man with the matching hat and the beautiful headset to match. Well, that's, of course, Miguel. And the man who looks like Walter White down there, that's Brandon. Gentlemen, welcome to the Dirt Report.
Thank you for having me.
Good
Yo,
to
it's
see you
been a
again,
blast.
Brian.
Oh, it's so good to see everybody here. And it's so good to start again another academic year. And like we said, it's time to start to slander some teams. So let's bring up our top five and let's see where things go. Of course, last year it was all about Converse and Akron. And surprise, they're 1-2.
Not much there to say. We're just expecting them to bring the same five back for Converse, and if they replace anyone, should be someone highly touted. Akron, they always reach out to the depths of the world to bring in people.
Well, I was expecting to have like some people get poached from like CL and go straight to Akron, or even somebody like ice cold from Converse get poached and go to Akron. But who are the new faces of Akron, Brandon?
Well, I mean, you got Fozo coming in from last semester, but all in all, the roster pretty much the same from last year. I think there's one or two new people, but generally Converse and Akron, not a whole lot of changes.
I mean, you'd expect top teams to kind of stay where they are. Now, William, do we know much about OSU? They're always a logo that is my personal favorite because, as we all know, I love to draw things in MS Paint. And of course, they're the MS Paint team.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State, they've always been a pretty consistent team when it comes to Premier. There's never really nothing too crazy about them. They just have solid talent, solid teamwork, and all in all, it just ends up working out.
Well, unlike the fourth place team, they don't have solid teamwork. They don't have solid communication. You want to tell me about that again, Mr. Pendergraph?
Yeah, I mean, it's Arizona State. We're a bunch of gunners. We like to have
That's
fun. This is really a team. It's more than a team. We're a family. We're friends. We hang out almost every single day. For the past, ever since I've got to Tempe, I've hung out with my teammates consistently. At least once a day, we've gotten one meal together. Um, you know, we've brought in a lot of firepower with bringing in Duke, formerly from Eclectic, which played in SCS. And then we have Kaiser and Jay coming in. Those are two young bloods, highly talented, highly mechanically skilled. With, obviously Brian, the senior. This is his final run at it. So, we're going to see how it goes.
Alrighty, so what you're saying is to be a good collegiate Rainbow Six Siege team, you need to hang out with your friends and touch grass. Wait, you're in Arizona. You don't touch grass. Touch sand?
Touch sand. Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty, moving on to that fifth seeded team. Miguel, who the heck is this? And why are they unbanned?
Yo, I heard they got done ringing. That phone was ringing for a while. It's a year later, it's still won't stop ringing. But UGA Juan's remolded this roster with him and Perplexed. They brought up Teddy from the T3, T4 scene. They got a kid called Mavis, I believe, and then there was one more. They were looking good in the qualifiers. They went on a little loser bracket run after they lost to ASU.
All right, so solid team. And I think somebody that we should be looking out for because they're a team that is coming back for a revenge tour. They got hit with the banhammer, and now I think they're actually here to play. And that sixth place team, Brandon, is as well. I mean, they're constantly a team that is just flirting with the kind of the quarterfinal, semifinal gang. That's going to be Wisconsin. I mean, they're so consistent. They always seem to fall up short. What change are they going to be making to hopefully carry them across that finish line today or this season?
Well, Wisconsin, they managed to keep themselves inside of Premier for this stage. They didn't have to go through the qualifiers. They didn't play it at all. So, they stayed inside of that top 8 last stage. What I'm expecting from them this semester is a little bit more of the same. Keep on trying to push that envelope a little bit. I don't know if they'll quite make it up this year, but with the change that we've seen in, that top 4, top 5 spot, I think there is that potential for them to move up as long as they stay consistent.
So moving on to seventh, William, what do we know about Kent State? What are they going to be doing this season? What are they going to try to usurp control of that sixth place team, Wisconsin?
Yeah, Kent State, they've always been pretty good performers in the past few years. They might have had a few upsets here and there, been a little inconsistent, but this year, they've really shown that they're going to bring the heat and they're going to, just try their hardest to move up these power rankings.
Now, okay, so I heard that there's some extra firepower that's going to be carrying that, Miguel. I heard that there's some ringers in this roster now.
Yeah, they dropped Staz for Maddox. I believe, she's been around in the scene for like ranked, what was it, CCSW?
Mm-hmm.
Usually up there. So we'll see. We'll see if that roster move was what benefits. Because in my opinion, Staz was a low key hitter on that team.
I mean, Staz was a gunner, but I can't complain. Maddox joining the team, my duo. That's a W for me. So Kent State has gone to number one. That's a surefire win. RRG. Now, what roster is this? Who is this? They're not on my list. Brandon, who are we? Who are we looking at in the 8th place?
So Road Runner Gaming, sometimes occasionally known as Texas San Antonio, once led by the famous Miguel himself. No longer the case this year. UTSA, they're looking decent going into the semester. Subs, maybe not the greatest, but they do still have a ton on their roster. Man's always a formidable machine if you let him get fired up. So be on the lookout for them inside of Premier. But at the same time, they better hope they have ton with them.
So, Mr. Miguel, do you have any insider scoop for me? Can we get the tea on this new roster? Can we get your power strats? Are you going to be playing nothing but like theme park?
Hey, we might have to run it back on theme park and skyscraper all day long.
Alrighty, gentlemen. This 9th place team. What happened here? This is NC State, guys. This is like the powerhouse of the past 2 years. I'm going to leave this one open. Please step in. What the heck are we doing in a 9th?
People got old.
People got old. What are you saying, William?
Hey,
what do you
I mean, they
sometimes
had
age outs
3/5
happen,
of their
man.
starting roster leave. Like they've had 3/5 of their starting roster leave.
Yep.
They're bringing in Rhyme Force as a replacement for Taco. Personally, I think
Taco
Rhyme
go.
Force is kind of mid. I think Rhyme Force is
Yeah,
kind of mid.
I wouldn't let that happen to me.
Yo, retirement came calling.
Yeah, sometimes you graduate, you lose out your eligibility, and then you drop from 2nd place to 9th place. It happens sometimes.
But they still have gunners, right? You have Rai, who's trying to make an appearance tonight. You still have Anarchy, right? So
Nah,
you
Anarchy's gone too.
Anarchy is gone? Oh, no wonder why they're 9th. Good night. All right, mid-team, we'll move on.
They're very unproven at the moment with this new roster. So season starts next week for both CR6 and CEA. So we'll have a lot more answers going into our next report in about 2 weeks. But right now, this is where they sit. But this could very well go up or down depending on how these first 2 weeks go.
I'm still shook that they've had so many roster changes, but hey, it is collegiate after all. We expect players to graduate, and another team that has been burdened by players going off into the real world, that's going to be Purdue. They were a former dominant powerhouse. Again, I'm going to leave this open. Please jump in on this one. Why are we in 10th, Purdue?
Yo,
Purdue, if I'm correct, has an entirely different roster this stage than they did from last year. So, it's kind of not bad that they didn't drop further, in my opinion. I feel like they probably could have dropped at least 5 more spots with a brand new roster that's unproven.
Yeah, they
Isn't
ran
it
it up in the
true?
quals though, so we'll see because they upset teams like GCU. So we'll see if they can hang for long.
Let's
Now,
see.
I heard the rumor mill saying that this is the C team that took control or took the place of both their B and A team to take this 10th spot. Is that true?
Well, that's what the grapevine was speaking. That
Wow.
that the old B team didn't qualify, but the C team qualified through the quals.
Alrighty. So we've been slandering NC State. We've been slandering Purdue. Now we don't get to slander anybody because this is OSU. Now you might be scratching your head. We saw OSU before. They were back in 3rd. What is OSU doing here? This is OSU B Team. They're the only roster so far to have a B team up here. So Brandon, if you're watching the Dirt Report right now, are you going to be shaking your boots over this OSU B team? Because clearly OSU is throwing some powerful teams forward.
Well, they have enough to have 3 separate teams, 21 separate players across 3 rosters, and if they have a team that's good enough to have a B team inside of the rankings, no less inside the top 15, that's definitely something to be concerned about if you're a team inside of CR6 Open. So a lot of these open teams got to be real concerned about this. At the end of the day, we'll see how it goes. Sometimes qual teams get real lucky, but if OSU is good enough to have 2 B teams inside of this ranking, there's definitely some concern for some other teams.
And we know there's never any luck for the West Coast teams because there are only about 3 of them that can actually shoot back. The other one being GCU, the other Arizona team, the other team outside of Tempe, Arizona, in Phoenix proper. Pendigus, tell me about GCU and how did they become that, powerhouse 2 years ago, that 4th place team, last year kind of the 8th place team, and now they're in 12th. This roster has gone over some crazy changes lately.
Yeah, GCU has definitely had a change up, not only in the roster, but also kind of in their game philosophy. When we've practiced with them, we've seen them go from absolute gunners, kind of like a mini ASU of today, and now they're all the way over on the other side, playing super strategically and just trying to outthink the opponent rather than outshoot. Because honestly, Klimpse can't bring that.
I mean, he was brought up from a primary hard support to a primary entry. So you kind of have somebody who's designed to only plant the bomb and flash people with their foreheads who are now trying to collect heads on Ash. It does not work well, but for a 13th place team, Miguel Davenport, I've heard some rumors that these guys are actually shooters.
This team was in Premier in the spring. They didn't do too hot in their first season of Premier. They kind of, I believe, they dropped out towards the end of the season. They couldn't make playoffs, but through the rumor mill, they grinded through the summer through scrims. I was watching them play from their Land Center during the quals, so this team might be an up and comer.
I do have
Now,
to
do you
say,
think? Uh-oh.
Davenport
Go
went
for it,
on
Brennan.
quite the run through the quals. Only lost out in the upper bracket to Ohio State Gray, which I do have a correction. Ohio State B Team is in Premier with Ohio State A Team. So definitely a team you want to look out for in Premier. But let's see, inside of the lower bracket, after their loss to OSU, they ended up going out against Georgia in the lower bracket semifinals. So Davenport, definitely a team to look out for this semester. Like Mig said, they were in Premier last year. Sometimes teams get the first semester jitters when they get into a league. But I think it definitely might see a change of pace this semester from them.
A team that I think is also going to be kind of a good parallel to that is the Redbirds next up in line. I mean, they're a roster that seems to be always there. They always exist. I mean that in the best possible sense. They always seem to be some type of contender, and they're kind of one of those rosters that we can say, hey, they're going to be able to make a decent run, Miguel, but again, what are they going to be? What do they need to do to kind of like change the pace and no longer be top 10, but maybe be top 5?
Do you know a good chiropractor by chance?
Oh, I don't.
Orthopedic
Sorry,
surgeon?
I need my back cracked.
Yeah, Moore and Cal, they got a lot of head lifting this year. Snail's gonna be weighing them down by the mile. So I don't know if Cal got some help with Moore, but I don't know if that's enough to 4v5 every team in Premier.
Alrighty, so apparently Cal's the only player on that roster getting a scholarship. Everybody else is just living rent-free there.
Yeah, they're all living in Cal's basement. Hopefully sometimes they see the daylight.
Well, we already learned from Pendii that the way to be a successful Rainbow Six Siege player in the collegiate ecosystem is to actually go outside and talk to people. So living in your basement, 14th seeded Redbirds, not really what you guys want to be doing. Texas Tech, Brandon, what about this roster?
So Texas Tech's been inside of Premier for a while now. They've been a really good roster. You've seen them across a bunch of different leagues, making it quite high. This semester, down in 15th place. I think they made maybe a slight roster change. You still have Bait, you still got Gassy Gama and Napt, but it looks like they did bring on Draco this semester, which is a good pickup for them. Going through quals, they had quite a decent run. They lost to Davenport in the upper bracket, and then let's see, taking a look in the lower bracket, it looks like they made it up against Auburn, and then ended up losing out to GCU in the lower bracket quarterfinals, it appears. So a good team overall, had a good run in the quals. I'm excited to see what they do in Premier this semester.
I just know Camo is a typer on that team. So if you're playing Texas Tech, it might be spicy in the all chat.
Well, we know ego kills, and that's not how you get good in Rainbow Six Siege. Am I right? Now, okay, moving on to the 16th team. Who the heck is this? I don't think I've ever seen this logo before. The Fighting Scots.
INAPS.
Yeah?
It's INAPS and N-Dubs. N-Dubs
oh
in
my
Premier
God.
12 dropped 31 kills.
N-Dubs
Yeah,
dropped
like I said, he
31
now
to
holds
win
the record.
match. Yeah.
Oh no.
31 on
So
the map.
Demon Squad?
Might be a Demon
Two
Squad.
hard carries. It's kind of like a CJ and Red type of duo.
So basically what you're saying is you ban two players' favorite ops, and then they're just going to be kind of useless?
Basically.
They shoot.
If N-Dubs can drop 31 kills a map
that's your
every
hot
game,
take.
then I mean, hey, anything's possible.
Anything is possible. I mean, we've seen some
On
upsets here
on
and
any
there.
given Sunday.
any given Sunday. Yeah, all the upsets take place in the Dirt Report when we trigger everybody by the slandering that we drop. Kennesaw State. Moving on to them. William, what do we know about Kennesaw?
Kennesaw, in my opinion, should have been in Premier, but they dropped the ball.
Ooh,
They're better than
that's
about
brutal.
4 teams in Premier, but they just couldn't get it done. They just couldn't get it done when you need to get it done. And I mean, that kind of speaks for itself in the rankings.
There was a
They should have been
round,
there, but they weren't.
there was a round they threw against Edinburgh where one guy looked away. They all turned to watch the same doorway. The other guy came from behind, just killed like 4 people in sight.
Damn, that is unfortunate.
So communicate, Kennesaw. That's how you get back to Premier. Talk to one another. Communicate.
Mine Hayden is a shooter though on that team, but you know, you just gotta all watch something different. You can't all be watching the same damn door.
That's true. You know, Mike Hyden was the first player I played with when I transferred over to PC. That's your fun fact of the day with Chief Cast. We're learning something every single day. So, you know, I take credit for that 17 spot for Kennesaw. If I didn't team with him, they would be down in like 30th. So it's 100% Chef Cast that they got that spot. Alrighty, NJIT. Gentlemen, what do we expect of this roster?
Solid and Smut +3.
Yeah, solid. It's gonna
So-
be solid's gonna have everything on his back pretty much. Man's a one-man army.
You gotta
So,
hope that their
I think
PCs
that-
stay on and their internet holds up.
So there seems to be a theme with these, we'll call it like 13th and beyond teams. It seems to be 1 or 2 gunners and then backpacks. So is that going to be the case for our 19th seeded team? Auburn? Do they have backpacks? Or are they a
I heard
well-rounded
it's
team?
1 + 4. That's what the rumor mill is floating. Yo, my boy Dynamite's on the team. You know, he's a long-standing member, but what the rumor mill's been saying is a 1 + 4.
1 + 4. Oh no. That's so tough to see.
I think they're the
Alrighty.
team with EXO. I think that's the team with EXO.
Oh, is that EXO? Oh, interesting.
That is XO.
So, all right, then you got some pedigree on that roster. That might be something to watch out for. Again, we've kind of seen these T1, T2 players step into collegiate and actually be disruptive. And again, that's what we expect out of players of that caliber. So maybe log that in the back of your mind for somebody that we should potentially watch out for. I mean, there's a reason why they're top 20. And speaking of that, who's our 20th seeded team, Brandon?
So it's gonna be Trine Esports. I saw someone in the chat a little earlier saying that they got a bit unlucky due to the RNG of their bracket. But you know, take a look here. The Saint Leclerc Saints getting double rounded. UNT twice now. That's interesting. Trine, they took a win against them, then ended up losing against ASU in the lower bracket. Up in the upper bracket, though, they immediately got smoked by UMBC, which is actually our number 22 team. So the fact that they managed to somehow end above them is quite interesting.
Yeah, Trine was a loser bracket team. They got sent down pretty early, but managed to run it up and still not qualify for Premier.
Now, a team that I think is going to, or maybe come into Premier, or at least a lower level series of CR6 is St. Mary's. And refresh my memory, this is an NECC team or an NJCAA team. Is that correct? And they're now working their way into CR6?
They're a scholarship team, actually. They're a private uni here in San Antonio that they actually do scholarships. Actually being coached by the famous Ugly Primo.
Ooh,
Who's coaching them?
Primo.
Primo
Hey,
came out of the
yo.
retirement home to coach him up.
Hey, no age requirements on coaches.
So another pattern that's developing, there seems to be a lot of Texas states that are on this list. So Texas is a state to watch out for. I mean,
We
Arizona
got a lot
has
of
been
schools,
listed.
man.
You do a lot of good
We
schools
got a
too.
lot of good-
Arizona is there twice.
We're
So-
like the SEC, man. You just can't beat us.
Yo, breeding grounds.
On God, no, literally.
All right, so check this off. If you want to be good at Collegiate Rainbow Six Siege, go over to Texas, unless
Fine.
you're going to Converse Akron.
Yeah. If you're not on scholarship, find a school in Texas.
All right, done. Now, Brandon, you mentioned this team before. They had some bumps in the road during their qualifying. This, of course, being UMBC.
Yeah, so UMBC, they ended up winning their first game against Trine. It looked like a good win, but then immediately got pounced on by Purdue. Purdue, obviously, we saw I believe it was number 10 on our rankings. Yeah, number 10 on our rankings. So Purdue, a good team. UMBC, not too bad themselves. ended up falling into the lower bracket where they immediately took down Illinois Orange before losing to Auburn. Auburn, like we said, has Exo on their team. They're looking like maybe a 1+4 team, maybe a 2+3. So a good roster to be on the lookout for, but UMBC definitely on the up and up, and we'll see how they do this first stage.
Well, hopefully good news for them, and good news if you're a fan of Texas, because another Texas team is up. This is going to be North Texas. Miguel, what's their storyline?
Yeah, they're a breeding ground. They're improving out here. Son of Finn's got a little boot camp going on over there. You know, they're rising through the ranks. They used to be a heavy open team. Now they might push the trenches. You know, lucky bracket. You know, didn't make it deep in the quals, but hey, they were out there in the quals getting some practice in, unlike others.
We had a good quals run. Unfortunately, we had to face Davenport first off. That didn't quite really go our way. We were playing with 2 subs, I think, in that game. But we moved on to the lower bracket, faced off against the Purdue B team, then faced off against Rutgers. We ended up ending the quals against GCU. It wasn't a super close match for us, but we definitely are improving a lot with our full roster. Like Mig said, we have Son of Finn on our roster. He's been a real good help to us. Been teaching our new IGL how to, lead our team. Recently had a really nice freshman pickup. Name is Jack. Man's an absolute machine. Loved that man to death. But we got 3 different gunners on our team, plus me and Jake hitting up the back end on the support side. So we're definitely not any slouches looking to go into this stage.
I think you can hear my dog in the background barking. She's clearly a fan of your roster, Jagged. I mean, Finn Stan for life, Finn stream follower. So clearly you got some support here in the chef house. Now, if you're surprised, don't be. It's another Texas team. Here we go. William Pendii. What about A&M?
Yep, Texas A&M. They've been in the trenches for a little bit, but this seems to be kind of their standout year. Let's see if I'm personally not super familiar with the team, surprisingly, because we're both on the same division for CEA Open. But I think they have potential to make some big upsets on some top 10 teams if bands go their way, if the team chemistries flow in that day. I think they can really be an upset team. We just have to see how the season goes.
If I'm correct, I'm pretty sure this A&M is a completely rebuilt roster from the A&M of old that used to win CR6 back in the early days.
Yeah, I believe this is the B team turned into A team that had like a little run in the playoffs stage 3 last year.
Oh, interesting. So another Dark Horse contender. Miguel, I'll let you take us home, and as you introduce our final team of this top 25.
Rutgers kind of been around the scene. They've always been kind of mid. Maybe they can kind of push through and finally break the seal. They were always known as the team that shouldn't belong in CEA Premier, but they somehow always managed to stay in, win just enough.
Alrighty, so now it's time to kind of start to set the Twitch chat on fire. Time to start to spice things up a bit, and we're going to go with what roster should not be on this top 25? Who is the one that kind of got carried up in here?
Ooh, I'm gonna say it. I think Rutgers might be a little bit overinflated on this list. I apologize to any Rutgers stands out there. Y'all got lucky in your first match against Edinburgh, but after that, it was kind of wraps for y'all. You faced Arizona State and then UNT. Those 2 matches weren't really close for y'all. I think y'all definitely got room to improve this semester. I'm excited to see what y'all do. But I don't think you deserve spot 25.
Wow. That was rude. Alrighty, keep those grievances coming. I want to hear more of them.
I think UGA might be the hot tankers. I think they're they're coming up fresh off their ban, might be in deep waters, and then they might forget how to play.
Whew. That one hurts. I mean,
they lost to the ASU actual starting 5, but then beat the sub rosters. So maybe they forgot how to play real teams.
Well, we know ASU is trash, so I don't think that counts as anything.
Hey, if y'all want a hot take, I got one. I don't think Converse is going to be the number 1 team.
Whoa!
I think Akron with Zosa, I believe that's how you pronounce it. He's considered one of the best players out of South Africa, considered like the best IGL out of there. I think he's going to add some firepower onto this team, and I think the thing is, it's not that Converse is any worse than they were last year. It's just that everyone around them has upgraded. So now everyone's kind of finally at their level, and I don't know how that matchup's going to play out.
So I actually agree with you, but not the team that you selected, because I think there's a precedent that has been established of our strong legacy teams. They absolutely blitz an academic year, they slaughter everything, and then they go into the next academic year and they're mid, or they're not as powerful. Akron had a terrible start last year. I mean, if you remember the first few dirt reports, it was pretty much Akron slandering simulator.
They lost
And for
like
that
3 or
reason-
4 games in a row at the start of last year before
Oh,
hitting the
and
rebound.
it was badly. It wasn't like they lost. They got slaughtered. It looked like they turned their monitors off and threw their keyboards out the window. So,
how you're saying Zosa's IGLing? We'll see if him and IMAT don't butt heads for long. You know, IMAT has a system, and you know someone else comes and
but I
brings a
heard
different
IMAT has
system.
graduated.
You know, IMAT got that Supermax contract, bro. He's lifetime collegiate
true.
siege.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to go back for one more semester.
I know IMAT's the homie, but I don't. I think Akron is again going to struggle early on, and it's going to affect them. I mean, they have to hit the ground running, and they have to hit the ground with the mentality that they want to win. And I think that's a mindset that they're going to struggle with early on. I think they're going to come in and say, we are the best team. We have been consistently one of the best teams for years now. So we're going to roll in and slam some lesser teams. And those lesser teams, as you guys have mentioned, have stepped up. So Akron, you're not playing at 110% early on. Your other opponents will be playing at 120%. And they're going to try to do the best they can to make you guys look silly. Now, that's our grievances. That's our hot takes. And we're going to have another form of hot takes. Who do you think is going to be the best team? William, you're last time, and you're going to be first this time. Who do you think the best team is going to be this academic year?
Honestly, I think there's 3 teams that can take it. I think there's 4 teams that can take it. But I think one of the dark horses, if they all show up, if their mentals aren't shocked, which is a very big if considering some of the personalities on this team, I think GCU has, or not GCU, I think UGA has the firepower and has the coordination to be able to win. But, you know, that all just depends. We got 2 kills on Teddy. His mental was gone. Game was over by round 3. But, you know, it all just depends on how well they can keep their mentals together.
Miguel, down to you, bud.
He took UGA. There's teams out there, you know, like I liked Wisconsin, you know, they got Reverse out there teaching them some new things, but Boomin and Rippled are my guys. I don't know if I can give them that much power. You know, if they had Reverse with Rippled and Boomin, I'd give them the lean.
Ooh. Alrighty. So who's your final choice?
I'm gonna have to go. You know, I gotta go with my guys, UTSA, man.
I mean, 8th place team.
You know,
they have to.
I gotta go with Ton versus the world.
I mean, he has solo carried a few games.
Yes,
it is history.
accurate.
So I mean, it's possible that he carries this team all the way to first place. Brandon, over to you. Who are we expecting to be the best team in this academic year?
I'm kind of agreeing with William here. I think UGA is definitely a team to look out for. You know, before the whole ban of, what was it, 2020, whenever they all got banned, they were a good looking team moving up through Face It and CR6. Now that they're back, I think it might take them a little bit to get back in stride, but I think definitely by the end of the year they can be a dark horse. The team I want to pick, though, is going to be OSUA. If they can avoid getting themselves media banned for the year, I think they can very much make it through. Converse has a lot to live up to from last stage. I think they're still going to be super good, but I like OSU's chances going into this stage.
So my vote was going to be leaning towards OSU. I think Converse is going to be a strong contender. I don't think they're going to be changing too much. I think I'm going to go, and I hate that I'm about to utter these 3 letters, UGA as my choice. Simply because they're coming off their ban. They're going to be triggered. They're going to be pissed. And they are going to absolutely play. Like, they're going to try to prove their haters wrong. And I'm sure people are angry with that one. The only thing I will say, and this is my words of wisdom to UGA, if you want to do good in collegiate, please keep your passwords to yourself and do not share accounts with anybody else. That is the true secret to being successful in Rainbow Six Siege. So we talked about the mid teams. We talked about the best teams. Are there any other teams that we should be watching out for? Maybe some rosters that might be sitting towards the back end of the like top 30 or top 40 that could wind their way up in the top 25? Or are we pretty confident with these top 25s kind of throughout the academic year? Brandon, you first.
So I think these top 25 is definitely going to change as we move on. Like we said, this is the preseason, so CR6 and CE haven't even started yet. I think after these first 2 weeks, I have a feeling the bottom half of this list is going to look very different, and the top half of the different things are definitely going to shift around. I want to say there's going to be at least 3 teams from the bottom 10 that aren't going to be on this list after 2 weeks, and in the top 10, I think you're going to have at least 4 teams in a different spot. So there's definitely a lot of room for this to shake up. I don't see this being a very stable list once we get into the season.
Yeah, there's teams like UTD or UAH that we haven't even talked about, but they were like legacy teams in the past.
Mhm.
So they had people graduate, lose players, gain players. So who knows? Anyone could rise and fall.
So William, do you echo your compadres?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's one team in specific, and they're either going to show up big or it's going to kind of be a flop. And I think that's Fisher. We're talking about them in the beginning. They've kind of fell off after a relatively poor performance during these premier qualifiers. But, they have icons in T3 like Geezer. They have a great coach coming from Team Mystic and Yali. And then they have Cappy from Team Vipers, the women's team. And, they're just kind of mixing together pieces, and it could be a great roster. It can flop tremendously like it has at the beginning of this year. I don't really know where it's going to go, but I want to see where it goes. I want to be on this
That's a great choice. I forgot that they're entering in to our league. That's all right. That's a team that I think we should watch out for. Again, there's a decent amount of T3, T4 experience, right? I mean, these players know how to play. They're quite competent, and sometimes you need that mentality. We've seen T3 players step into collegiate and again, just kind of absolutely dominate. So that's somebody that you might want to log in the back of your heads. And I want to kind of echo what you guys said. I tend to agree with you. Things are going to change, right? Our top 10, not set in stone. Our top 15 through 25, not set in stone. And if we look back at our previous academic years, it's always changing. Kind of like what I mentioned about Akron. Somebody can say, oh, I'm top 25. My spot is solidified. I am the best team in the world. We are the cool. And then they absolutely get dumpstered because ego is the enemy. So that's something that we could watch out for, or maybe see happen. Again, I want to see some of these new faces, these new names where we all just kind of meme and put chat like, who are these guys? And then they prove themselves and then eventually become the household name. Alrighty, gentlemen. I think we've taken enough time for today. I think it's time to start
Quick
to wrap
announcements,
things up.
though.
We got announcements?
Yeah,
Ooh,
we got
like
announcements. We're needing lackeys for the Dirt Report. As you can see, legendary Hall of Famer, first ballot Stephen A. Smith. Taco's not around. We don't have Jake out here anymore.
JMBeast left us.
Boomin is MIA for this semester at least. So if people want to join the crew, we're fielding quote unquote applications, in-person interviews. And then we're also going to be moving
in-person interviews.
Yeah, meet me at the CR6 headquarters.
You want to tell me where CR6 headquarters is, and I'll start heading there now?
Yeah, it's a private island.
Tango's basement.
Like I say, we're gonna ask Tango about that one.
It's a chemicalology lab.
Middle of nowhere, USA.
Where USA?
Somewhere in a
we're
Kansas
gonna move
cornfield.
from 1 week shows or every week shows to 2 week shows, just because last year we were having a lot of, stuff's not moving, or teams aren't they're winning what they're winning, they're losing what they're losing, so it wasn't causing a lot of ranking shakeups. So at least 2 weeks will give decent amount of shakeups when it comes to rankings.
So if we're going to continue on the announcement train, I know that we saw Rai being hyped in Twitch chat for the Dirt Report. I would like to see maybe Bait. I know Ice Cold's currently lurking in Twitch chat. I mean, those are some big personalities, and if we're gonna, continue on our theme of slandering, I think they'd have some fun hot takes. So if you guys want to join the Dirt Report, I guess reach out to one of us, and we'll make things happen. So I guess it's now time to start to clean up shop, William, over to you, my friend. Parting words of wisdom.
I mean, it's a new semester. It's a new year. Let's go out. Let's have some fun. That's what this is all about.
It's an important lesson. We're all here to have fun. None of us are going pro. Maybe pro all chat warriors.
Oh yeah, the best kind.
For sure.
Miguel, any final thoughts?
Matches aren't streamed. I can't really rank you. Can't really get a guessing game. So I'll just put you at the bottom down there, way below Rutgers.
Alrighty, Brandon, you got the final word here.
Be on the lookout for the Stage 1 Central Conference champs, UNT. Go Ming Green, and we'll see y'all on this field.
Cool beans. Alrighty, on behalf of William, Miguel, Brandon, this has been the first Dirt Report, and we're celebrating, our 3rd year? Is that correct, gentlemen?
Yep, season 3.
Season 3 of the Dirt Report starts today. This was the preseason kickoff. Again, William, Miguel, Brandon, my name has been Brian. Tango Mango down. Preston has been your producer today. Make sure you guys tune in 2 weeks for our next Dirt Report. Hopefully we're doing it then. Stay safe, stay well. See you in 2 weeks. Cheers.